The book of Daniel is key to understanding biblical prophecy. In Daniel, many end-time events are presented, and other prophecies in the Bible can only be understood by reading Daniel. Even Christ told his disciples that they must understand Daniel when they came to him and asked him about his return and the end of the age. He told them about many events, some of which that Daniel had described, and he referred them to the prophet Daniel. This presentation is titled Daniel's 77s. It's taken from a prophecy in Daniel 9:24 through 27. About 600 years before Christ, the prophet Daniel received a prophecy indicating the exact time of Christ's first coming. Then the prophecy included some details that would take place before the first coming and the second coming. The prophecy also described the last 7 years which would precede Christ's second coming and the end of the age. I am author and speaker Richard Perry. I wrote The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Last Days and my first book, Of the Last Days, Listen, I Tell You a Mystery. My website is lastdaysmystery.info. In this presentation regarding Daniel's 77s, we're going to take a careful look at this very important prophecy. This prophecy gives us much information about the return of Christ at the end of the age. Daniel's 77s prophecy, as recorded in Daniel 9:24 through 27. Because of the importance and complexity of this prophecy, we will analyze the prophecy verse by verse so that we can understand what is taking place. It starts with 77s are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. This prophecy identifies the restoration of Jerusalem, the revival of God's people, and his coming kingdom. At its heart, this is the promise that was made to Abraham, the promise of the Bible for God's people. It tells them the time frame of when God's kingdom will come on earth. In Daniel 9:24, God revealed the time frame of the coming of his kingdom. In Daniel 9:25, we see the time frame for the coming of the Messiah. This would be his first coming. It says, from the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Messiah, the King, comes, there will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. This decree is recorded in Nehemiah 2, and it took place about 445 BC. 7 sevens and 62 sevens equals 69 sevens of years, or 483 years. Which is the precise time, some people even calculate it to the day, that Christ, the Messiah, came riding into Jerusalem on the colt of a donkey in 32 AD. This is recorded in the Gospel of John, chapter 12. Here in Daniel 9:26, we are given a great deal of information. We're told that after the 62 sevens, the Messiah would be cut off. The people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end will come like a flood. War will continue until the end. We see that Christ came precisely as indicated, but then he was cut off. He made a covenant by sacrifice on the cross. Then we see this, the people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. The people who destroyed the city and the sanctuary were the troops from Titus's army. They were Syrians, according to Josephus. The ruler who will come, we'll find out, is the Antichrist, who will finally dominate the world until the end. We're also told that war will continue to the end. So this prophecy brings us to the first coming. There's an interruption, and 1 7 remains outstanding. In the previous verse, 9:26, we are told about a ruler who will come that will be related to the people that destroyed the city and the sanctuary, who we know in history were Syrians. So this leader who will come we recognize as the Antichrist, and we're told in Daniel 9:27 that he will confirm a covenant with many for 1/7. This is 1 7-year period. In the middle of the 7, 3.5 years till the middle, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering on the wing of the temple. The temple will be built and sacrifice and offering will be going on. Then he will set up an abomination that causes desolation. The Apostle Paul told us that this is when the Antichrist goes into the temple and sets himself up proclaiming that he is God. He will continue to be successful until the time of the end and the wrath of God is poured out on him. For more detailed information about Daniel's 77's prophecy, you can consult either of my 2 books, The Complete Idiot's Guide to the Last Days and my first book, Of the Last Days, Listen, I Tell You a Mystery. My website also contains a wealth of information about the time of the end, the rise of the Antichrist, the return of the Messiah, and the events prophesied that will take place between now and the end of the age. Daniel was told that his prophecies would be sealed until the time of the end. Now is the time of the end, and these prophecies are about to be fulfilled.